Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in for this video. This is going to be one of those videos where I actually review the products as I use them. You're going to be getting my reaction on several different items as I apply it to my face, which I think really forces me to pay a lot of attention to detail in what I tell you about the product, and you actually get to see what I mean, you know, rather than me just sitting here all done up talking about this product right here. I'm going to show you exactly how it applies and what I think about it as I apply it. So today, some of the things I'm going to be touching on are some of these loose shadows from Coastal Scents. If you've seen those on the website and been a little skeptical, I'll tell you what I really think about those. Also, I'm going to be using a new liquid liner pen and the Coastal Scents gel liner. And yeah, I'll just walk you through this eye look. It's very natural, so you've been warned. It's shimmery, light, pastel, but you may still be interested to just know how several different shades of these loose shadows actually go on. So if you want to see how it all comes together, keep on watching. First, I'm going to prime my lid with my Smashbox Photofinish Shadow Primer, and this is the type of primer that's really going to even out the discolorations that we naturally have on our eyelid. You can see since I put that on there, I'm going to continue to put it right up here. Since I put that on, it really has done away with some of the little veins you can see around there and a bluish or reddish tone. So actually kind of a nice, completely natural look that creates for you with the primer. So next I'm going to lay down a little bit of a creamy color base just to grab these loose shadows and help them out a little bit. I'm using my NYX Jumbo Pencil in Cottage Cheese, which I know may not be like the greatest name for an eye pencil, depending on how much you like cottage cheese, but I'm just kind of dotting that around and then blending it, making sure I don't get too much of the product on there. But this is just a shimmery kind of white pencil that's going to grab basically any color you put on it and make it stand out just a bit more. Then I'm going to take one of these Coastal Scents loose shadows in Dough Tail, and this is a light kind of shimmery neutral, I would say a very, very light pink shade. And so for that, I'm going to tap a little bit into the lid. This is how I like to use loose shadows anyway. I've got a little bit in there. I'm going to take my e.l.f. shadow brush and just kind of pack some of that first onto the brush. And this is going to give me a little more control now that I packed it on the brush. And I'm going to pack it right on top of the NYX Jumbo Pencil I put on. So we're getting kind of a nice light shimmery sparkle there. Okay, so just patting that on, and then we're going to pay attention to a couple other places we want to use this. So I'm going to use a fluffier shadow brush. Again, get the shadow right in there. And that's going to be our highlight. So let's just go ahead and make one step out of this, since it can be a little more hassle to use a loose shadow than a pressed one. So kind of go through all my steps at once here and condense it. Then I'm going to take my tiny brush, my mini detail brush. A Q-tip is fine for this step as well. You'll find that this brush will give you the most concentration of this color when we go down here for the tear duct area. You can see how it just gives us that nice, fresh, dewy look there. Otherwise, this really is an extremely sheer color. Not a lot of color is going to come through. You're more just going to get the shimmer and shine from it. So it's all about, you know, if that's something you go for, then you might enjoy this. Otherwise, it might seem a little too light for you. Next shade I'm going to go for is called Drama Shadow, and this is sort of a purpley shade. I'm trying to see if there's anything especially unique. In the packaging, it looks to be a true purple, maybe just a hint of a deeper plum tone in that shadow. I'm going to tap just a little bit into the lid. Again, this is shimmery. All these shades are shimmery, and sometimes shimmer can take away from the overall pigmentation. I'm going to take my Sonia Kashuk medium shadow brush. There's the color. I'm not going to use all that, but am going to just kind of angle my brush, go kind of down right in at that angle so I can get part of the tip covered with the shadow. Tap off any excess you have, and we're going to go right for our crease here. Just patting it in, just to give us a base color for the crease. And just because of how this looked in the package, I thought it would be darker. I thought it would be more vibrant on my eyelid, but really, after one swipe, I can't hardly see it. I'm going to go in with another really this only looks more sparkly. It doesn't really look more colorful. So yeah, that's kind of, I mean, this step is almost obsolete, I feel, because this shadow, which looked like a gorgeous deep purple, and I am using a packing it on approach with a shader brush here, and it's just kind of not really coming through too much for me. You can see a little warmth there, but overall not a ton. So yeah, not exactly what I was thinking I'd get from that shadow, so very, very subtle. The next shade I'm going to go for is no doubt darker. The shade is called, what is it called? Night Swim Shadow. It's kind of hard to see these sometimes, but this is a nice deep blue. Again, shimmery, but I like a good shimmery navy, and that looks just really gorgeous right there in the packaging. And I believe I found this to be a little bit more pigmented on the other side. I'm going to use my Essence of Beauty fine crease brush. Got a little bit there in the lid. This appears to be a little more concentrated, just a little darker, so by nature I think it's going to show up better. And I'm just going to go for my crease here. And we can see a little bit of that shadow starting to show up here and define our crease. I'm going for a light application first, just from inner to outer corner, just to lay down sort of a base contour, and then we'll think about working it out into the outer V. Gonna get a little more product here, see if we can make this a little more dramatic. There we go. There's some color starting to work for us here on the outer V. I'm just kind of swirling this, still trying to keep it pretty controlled, not doing any majorly, you know, big and bold strokes here because it is a loose shadow we're dealing with. But yeah, this is a very, very soft look. I would say if you're going for the soft, romantic look, you could probably do this with just the light shade and this shade, and it would be really pretty, and you wouldn't necessarily need the middle shade for it. And there we go. There's kind of our outer V. It's very diffused, and it's easy to diffuse these light shades. If you're a beginner with makeup and you're worried about making a lot of mistakes with your eyeshadow because you think, you know, I don't know quite where I'm going with this, these loose shadows are a little bit foolproof in that they're not so bold. But do keep in mind they are still loose, and that does make them a little more difficult than your typical pressed shadow. We're going to move on now to the liner, and I'm going to be using the LA Girl Fineline Long-Lasting Fine Tip Liquid Eyeliner. And this is one of the most fine tip, show you the logo there. This is one of the most fine tip liners I've used. It's really fine. And the one difficulty I found using it so far, the tip goes, it doesn't protrude very much from the plastic here, so when you're going in really nice and close, it's almost like you wish it was just a little bit longer. But either way, fairly easy to work with, so I'm going to go in starting at the very inner corner, and you will get you can get as fine a line as you want. I sometimes draw these up just a little bit more, and then I'll like a little bit up from my actual lash line and then kind of fill in. Like draw up like that. You see where I've left a gap? And then you can go back and fill in, just to kind of create a thicker line as you go towards the outside like that. And here we just kind of winged it out slightly. These pens are very easy to do that with, so instead of, you know, making that slope where my eye would go from here to here, I'm going to start drawing it outward a little bit. Now, a true test of a liner like this in my eyes is if it can draw over something that's ultra shimmery and still keep its nice rich black color. Realize that this is fairly new to me and I haven't used it a whole lot, but it is very nice and black. We'll see how that goes after a few more applications. The Revlon one that I'd used a while ago actually has managed to hold up quite well for a long time, so I was kind of surprised at the longevity that had. A lot of these pens can dry up rather quickly. But there we go, there's kind of our cat eye going on there. Next we're going to do our lower lash line. For that I'm using my Coastal Scents gel liner in Stellar. So this is a shimmery black, but it's mostly just going to look black. I got some questions about this. Can this be used as an eyeshadow base? I think they work great as an eyeshadow base, frankly. I'm using my Smashbox number 21 brush here. I'm just going to smudge it in with the other liner there. You can see how we've created that little notch for ourselves. No, but using this all over your lid, you might have more difficulty blending out a dark shade like this, but still it's doable, and I have done it. I did it on Halloween and I liked it. I thought it gave a nice long wearing base to my eyeshadow, which was nice. Plus they just have so many bright colors with these gel liners that they really allow you to have some unique shadow bases there. So if you're not using them as a shadow base, I think you're missing out, frankly. But here I'm just using it for its liner purposes. Especially this black is nice to use that for. So I just kind of went all the way in, sort of softening the line with my little brush as I went. Next I'm going to be curling my eyelashes, and then I'll apply a coat of L'Oreal's original Voluminous Mascara, and I'll join you with the finished look. Guys, here is my finished look. This is an extremely soft, shimmery look. We've defined it with a bit of a cat eye there, but it's not too over the top, obviously. And if you're not one who really likes the light pastel shimmery shades, this may not be for you. It is no doubt shimmery. It's not going to be very heavy on the color, and you're not going to necessarily be able to distinguish that, okay, that is navy blue, there's a little purple underneath and some sheer pink. You know, you're not going to really be able to pick out those colors. For some people, that's a good thing. They don't want anybody poking out what, you know, what their colors are on their face. But for other people, if you're into more of an artistic, colorful application, this may not be what you want. If I were to bottom line give you a recommendation on what to buy from Coastal Scents, I'd steer you more towards the palettes, just because I think they're more unique in their quality. I think they're great quality. You're getting a lot of fantastic colors in there that you wouldn't find that combination maybe elsewhere in your local drugstore, say, and you're going to get a lot for your money. With these, they're just so sheer. They're not doing a whole lot for me in terms of color payoff. Will it give you a pretty look? Yeah, I think it's pretty. It's just not necessarily unique. As far as what's on my lips today, I'm trying out the new e.l.f. lip stain. My color is in Fashionista, so it's a light pink, and then it's topped off with this clear gloss. And I like it. I like the shade so far. I think that could be a great kind of everyday, you know, it's not really a neutral pink, but it's not a bright pink at all. So thank you guys so much for taking the time to listen to me talk this look out and kind of tell you what I think about the products as I use them. I think it's a nice perspective to give from time to time instead of just sitting there reviewing something for you and just talking. So thanks so much for tuning in, guys, and have a great day.